Welcome to the show, everyone. We got our first caller coming in. Hold on. Thunder?
It's Thunder.
We are live and in living color. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Monty. It's Thunder.
Yeah, I know. We're live and in living color, I just said. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yep, loud and clear.
Modern technology never ceases to amaze me. So,
hey, I was in the I was in the store the other day, and they have this machine that for landlines. It's really cool. You hook up to the phone, and it will. If you're not there, you can leave a message.
What's it called?
Boy, they called it answering something. I can't recall, but wow. That's some advanced stuff, man. I don't even have to be home, and people can leave me messages.
Well, you know what? I tell everyone who calls me that they should never leave a message, because typically what they're going to say on the message machine is, "Hey, it's Thunder," or "Jim," or "George," or "Sue, call me." That's all. And I said, well, this is a new phone that records every call I missed with their name and number and time. And if I saw that you call, I'll probably end up returning your call. So don't leave a friggin' message.
I'm not in the answering machine business. I'm in the text business. So send me a text. It's a lot quicker.
And that brings me to a point I want to make, is that our whole society is being disassociated from speaking and communicating. And the Be Fantastic movement, one of what most people think is a good thing, but some might not, is that it creates engagement. When you tell someone that you're fantastic, it opens up a whole can of worms. People are going to want to hear from you. They're going to know why you're fantastic. And to me, the best answer to why someone's fantastic is, why not? I've introduced this program to over 600 people, and typically I tell them, here's how I see it. You're young, you're good looking, you're being chauffeured around town, you look like you're pretty healthy, and I think you've got a job. So do you need more reasons than that to be fantastic? So
you were able to get out of bed, put all your clothes on, and get in a car and drive. Yeah, you're doing better than most of our vets out there in the world. So, my gosh, let's
Well, one of the things is people don't realize what they have. To have your health is amazing, which is incredible. By the way, I did an interview about a week or so ago on Venice Beach, as when we met, right? And there was a young man in a wheelchair, quadriplegic, because he was controlling the video camera that was in his face and the wheelchair via air control. He had, in his mouth. So I had to interview him, and he was very optimistic. I introduced him to being fantastic. He was extremely in a good mood. And you know what happens, Thunder, when a body loses its limbs or is paralyzed, the mind compensates. And usually those people are happier than able-bodied humans, because the mind is taking over, and they're doing things like joining the Olympics, the Paralympics, that they would never have done otherwise as an able-bodied person. So it's amazing how the mind can compensate for not being full or being whole, the body, that is. So that was a pretty amazing interview. It was on Venice Beach. It was on Labor Day, actually. And you know the scene on Venice Beach. It's pretty incredible out there. But everyone has a story, and on my channel, Uplifting Interviews with Total Strangers, we've got over 450 cataloged. Never did a single second take, never rehearsed the interview, and never edited it. It's all clean interviews like we're doing now with these podcasts. We'll all make mistakes. We were talking earlier, Thunder, and you were saying that when you listen to yourself, it doesn't sound so good. I know I say and too often. But again, it's the content that we're trying to deliver to the world, not the quality. And so even on the show, the cooking show that I did, I even prefaced it with that this is a show for charity. If you're looking for faults, you'll find many, but it's not the quality we're looking for. It's the content, doing good for humanity, creating some good content that people could learn from and be inspired by. and take home and use on a daily basis, and of which the Be Fantastic movement it's gaining some popularity. By the way, everyone listening or who listens in the future to this recorded episode, Thunder has generously offered a free EMF reducer to all our members. I think we're going to do the first 1,000 members and see how it goes from there. If it starts to grow exponentially, we might just charge a nominal fee. But this EMF reducer will eliminate, what's the percentage, Thunder? Thunder? Okay. I guess Thunder's on mute.
No. Why? No. You can't hear me?
No, we didn't hear. I thought it was just talking to Thunder, actually, or lightning. But no, what's the percentage that the EMF reducer eliminates?
Well, all of the dangerous carcinogen of cell phone radiation, 99.9%. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to have, I don't think it's on my site right now, but I'll have a video playing where we showed the EMF reducer, which will now be the iconic Be Fantastic icon.
Great job on your logo, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone of the 630 subscribers we have now, to the person, they all love it. It's just so cute. It's so positive. It's so refreshing. Everyone loves it, and to have it on your phone and to know that it's helping your health is going to be even better. And by the way, the bee, I'm told, is extremely important to humanity's existence. So it's apropos that we would have a bee that is symbolizing pollinating positivity. Because someone who's fantastic is someone who is very, very positive, who's giving, who's kind, who's not selfish, like this greedy, selfish society we seem to be trapped in right now. But there are some good people. Thunder, I think good attracts good, and I think you've attracted a lot of good people in your life and through your mission to clean up the environment and do some amazing things with your technologies of, what is it, quantum mechanics? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I want to really, this is a perfect place to really let people understand the almost synchronicity or the harmonic synchronicity of your logo as a EMF block and the importance of our bees. You see, we're having a problem in this world with the bee population. And I am scientifically, absolutely, positively have tied this to cell phone towers. Our bees cannot find their ways home. They cannot find their way home because the radiation of billions of cell phones that are operating off these towers are messing with their equilibrium. And this is what the bee population problem is. It's because of cell phones. So what better way to have a image as your home screen wallpaper that reminds the world and yourself that and a home screen wallpaper is today's billboard. I drive down the road or if I'm a passenger in the car going down the road, I'm not reading signs. I'm looking at my cell phone. Okay? So what better way to have a EMF block that represents what it is we're trying to save, a important species on our planet, which are bees, and you're telling the world at the same time and reminding you at the same time that you are fantastic. And you are doing a fantastic job by having this logo on your phone, which is helping you in your health and at the same time helping nature. When I had my test done at the Intertech Labs, which did cell phone EMF radiation, known as a SAR report, a SAR is a specific area of research. In particular, cell phone radiation is what we were looking at. And they said, well, we've tested over 400 companies, and the best anyone's ever done is 1.9%. No one's hit the 2% level. In fact, anybody who hits the 10% level should probably consider themselves a billionaire, because there's so many phones in the world that are having this problem, and you would be the company that could get out of the it's a legality problem that the manufacturers cannot even admit that they got cell phone radiation, because then they just open the door for a class action lawsuit that they can't get out of. So anybody hits the 10% mark, you're a billionaire. So I'm looking at them and I'm like, are you kidding me? All right, well, let's test. So we test, and it comes back as a 36.6%. I'm flipping livid, right? I'm like, what? And they're jumping up and down. They're like, hey, look at this guy. He actually has something that works. I'm like, a 36% is an F on any test I've ever taken. Well, of course, I've never seen a 36% on any test I've taken. But those are the kids that didn't get to pass in school, right? So I'm not too excited about this. So then I started picking apart and tearing apart their testing procedure. And I said, okay, well, let's go through this, because this is insane. I said, first off, you didn't even use a live human. You used a mannequin. You cut a hole in its head and you filled it with Jell-O gelatin. What's that supposed to be? Brain matter? Oh, you guys are terrible. Then you slammed a thermometer inside there with a headband, and you put a cell phone on the side of it. Well, what about the equilibrium? They're like, the what? Oh, you guys call yourself a testing laboratory? Shame on all of you. I said, the human brain, equilibrium puts out the amount of pressure in our vision so that we don't go blind. It puts out the amount of pressure in our eardrums so we don't blow them out. And it keeps you balanced so you don't fall and break your hips. I said, equilibrium also is working in frequencies of the brain that are coming at the neuron of the brain, so the brain produces a frequency to combat those dangerous, harmful signals. But the cell phones have about 32% of the cell phone radiation that's coming off your cell tower into your phone, the brains can't handle. So I only included those frequencies in this test. Otherwise, if I included the ones that the brain can handle, the brain would become weakened. And we would be bombarded by dangerous frequencies to the brain, because those areas of the brain would not be used. So we sat back down, we retested it a week later, and of course I scored the 99.9, which is the world record. But the point is, these guys were using Jell-O gelatin, and they were showing how dangerous the cell phone was to Jell-O. Wow. Now, our brains are a little bit bigger than bumblebees. Most of us, Monty. I know there's a few people out there who, I think they're, politicians, whose brains are maybe a little bit smaller than the bumblebee. But the bumblebees have equilibrium that is they're forgetting their way home. We have Alzheimer's. I think they have Bees-timers. I'm just making it up. But they're losing their innate intelligence, or this nature, to find their way back to the hive. And of course, when you got an population that cannot breed, well, then the shrinkage of the bee population is what we're seeing here on our planet. A very important species for our planet. So when you produce the Bee Fantastic logo, and we had art department drop the EMF shield over top of it, and I just looked at it, I go, God, that's a beautiful looking logo. Everyone's cell phone. It's the perfect thing, because it matches nature with mankind's #1 sold device worldwide, cell phones.
Number one sold, huh?
Wow.
Wow.
Good job. That is synchronicity.
Yeah. Well, it's all about fate and how things line up as they should. We know each other for years, and things line up when they're supposed to line up. And you can't force things to line up.
No, that's very true. And we are in a new pattern here. I think as a species, as we are uncovering knowledge, using math and using science, and starting to see that some of the things we were told, or some of the things we're shown on the news, or some of these things, they're just not true. And people are woken up. It's not they're waking up. People are awake. They've woken up. They're seeing this. And the ones that are perpetrating these lies are collapsing left and right around us.
Well,
our species is coming to a point where, unlike the bee, we're going to find our way home. And we have the ability to do so.
Well, we're so low on the evolutionary scale. Do you know how long it took the government to mandate that doctors wash their hands and sanitize their instruments? Do you know how many years it took to make it almost
Lost
like
your audio.
30 years? It took 30 years
Mandate what?
to convince.
You cut out. Sorry.
It took 30 years for the government to step in and mandate that doctors wash their hands and sanitize their instruments. 30 years. They were smoking cigarettes while doing operations. The point I'm trying to make is we're just learning so much every day, exponentially. We learned that smoking's bad for your health, but a couple decades ago. The progression of knowledge is off the charts. But we're still a long way to go, and we're using still 3 to 5% of our brain. And there's a lot of problems out there. But we've got to start communicating better. There's no engagement out there anymore. People are on their cell phones. You see a couple at the restaurant with sitting across from each other on their devices, texting. I always wonder if they're texting each other. There's no communication. And the Fantastic movement is creating engagement. And when you tell someone you're fantastic, they've never heard that before. And they want to know why, how, when, where. And basically it creates engagement between people. People are starting to talk. People are starting to be positive. I'm hoping that we could just get people to let people in traffic. Imagine if we just you know how good you feel when you let someone in traffic, and then they probably feel good about it and they let someone else in? Wouldn't that be something if people were kind on the road? It's just,
And they wave thank you.
Exactly. Imagine saying thank you. I hold doors open for a lot of people. And I would say probably 30% of the time they don't even say thank you. It's like, what are they? The door monitor here? I helped my time. I stayed a little bit extra in my precious life to hold that door open for them, and they don't say thank you? And then the other guy, after I told him about being fantastic, and he said, Monty, I smile a lot at work. But what's weird is people ask me why I'm smiling. And I started thinking and saying it out loud now, what is wrong with our society where we ask people why they're smiling, why we ask people why they're laughing, or why they're having a good time? It's just such a negative outlook on life that you can't enjoy it, that we're in a rat race and you can't think outside the box. This whole movement is about being positive, about being kind, about karma and giving, and I think it's gonna go a long way. We only have 630. By the way, we hit 630 today, which is kind of neat. So it's a small number, but I'm hoping we can get 6.3 million one day, because it's going to make the world a better place when people are kinder and not just thinking about themselves.
But look at these numbers. Anderson Cooper at CNN, they've spent $70 million for him to have a podcast and a YouTube channel, and it's getting between 400 and 600 people. That's it. That's it. So tell me, without the $70 million that were invested, you'd have more people than CNN does watching on any of their live CNN reports. So, is there an awakening going? Yes, there is. There's a movement going. And Marty, my hat's off to you. You got an awesome thing. You know, when I was a kid, and I'm sure you remember, were you in Little League?
No, I don't think I was. It was too long ago.
You have Little League? Okay. We had Little League back where I was, and I remember going into, I was on a farm, so that was kind of big news to go even into town to play organized sports. But then when I got to go, into the bigger cities, and we saw baseball fields and soccer fields and football fields full of kids after school every day. Today, I don't remember the last time I saw a bunch of neighborhood kids playing in an open lot.
Well, we don't know our neighbors. Even in an apartment building, you don't know the person next to you. There's no engagement anymore. We're all living on these little devices. We're driving one person per car. You see the freeways, the congestion in the streets every day, morning, noon, and night. It's I don't know. There's a lot of problems we can't solve them right now, but we can do it if we're just kind to one another. I think that's a big step forward.
Yeah. People can take a deep breath, a little more, put a smile on their face, be courteous, say thank you, say please.
I did an interview the other day. Every once in a while on my channel, I'll just turn the camera on myself without someone there and give some of my motivational advice and some inspirational sayings and stuff. And one of my videos the other day was driving lessons for everyone, because I've been driving quite a lot lately. And what I'm noticing is everyone is, when they see a red light, they're accelerating to it, and then they're slamming their brakes on, or not slamming their brakes on, but pressing them very hard, which wears them out. So my little video is, I said, drivers, when you see a red light, take your foot off the accelerator and glide to it. Because the last I looked, you don't get anywhere sitting at a red light quicker than you would by gliding up to it and then pressing your brakes gently so they last a lot longer. I just spent $2,700 on brakes for my Porsche Cayenne. All right? And if you just press your brakes lightly to stop, they'll last for a long, long, long time. But everyone's speeding to the red light and hitting their brakes. Now, that's actually a metaphor of life. People are rushing through their life instead of enjoying it. They're looking forward to retirement. They're looking for next year or down the line instead of enjoying what a beautiful day it is today. What's the saying? Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. So, there's something to be said for not rushing through life and cutting off everyone and just thinking of yourself and just racing to the end where you're not going to have anyone. Because you've left everyone in the dirt, and you're going to be there all alone with big money bags because you worked so freaking hard to enjoy your retirement, and then half the time you don't make it to retirement. My parents died when I was 9 years old. They didn't even get close to retirement, So I have a whole different vision of that most people don't get to enjoy because of the adversity that I've gone through. I probably had one of the worst childhoods you could imagine. I mean, at times we didn't have running water or electricity when we lived in communes. My parents were beatniks. And then when they died, I was put into a foster home that was subpar. Let's just say it that way. The guy could rot in hell, my foster father, and he is, hopefully. But, so my window on life is quite unique. From being born in Beverly Hills to being raised in the hills to then being put in the valley, in my junior and high school years. But, life is really worth enjoying. I don't think most people get life till they're either 50 years old, either traveled extensively, or experienced death in the family or friends. And that's a shame. And so my mission is to open up people's eyes and say, travel before you hunker down and go 8 to 5 for eternity, for your life's work. People gotta get out there and see the world. They gotta enjoy the world. They gotta, even if in your small town, there's things worth enjoying. There's 10 million people right now in Los Angeles. I'll bet 9 million of them never went to the beach, never went to the edge of the ocean.
That's quite true. I've been down to the ocean on weekends, and it appears to be full. But when you really look at the numbers, there wouldn't even be 600,000 people.
Out of 10 million. I have
10 million.
As you know, I'm a boater, and when I first got my first boat, the guy brought me out to show me the ocean, and we sat out there, and knowing that there was 10 million people within a mile, right, on the coast, and 6,000 boats in the marina, and we were the only ones out there. I thought, this is crazy. People are not enjoying even what they have. I mean, there's huge mega yachts here, and 90% of them are unused. It's people have some great things, but they're so busy making money that they don't get a chance to enjoy them. And when you make too much money, one of my sayings is, your wife's going to divorce you, and your kids are going to hate you because you're so busy making money you weren't there for them. So there's fantastic people. I'm going to come up with a Bible. Maybe you can help me with this, of what a fantastic person does. First, he's positive. Second, he's giving, kind and considerate. But third, they got to look at living life, not living for the future. Enjoy the journey, not the destination. I'm sorry if I'm just gabbing here, but it gets me excited when I'm thinking about how many people need to hear this kind of rhetoric to understand how great life is.
I have two rules, Monty. One, always be positive.
Okay.
Two, never be negative.
That's very good. Well, positive
and
thoughts.
Congress passed how many laws last year?
Yeah, positive thoughts.
They boiled it down to these two simple things. Is it a positive law or is it a negative law?
Right. Well, positive thoughts manifest positive action, and conversely, negative thoughts converse negative action. I'm trying to tell everyone, don't think you're going to be late. Don't think you're not going to do well on the test. Don't think he or she's not going to call you back. There's just, you got to get negative. If you have anyone in your life that's negative, they're a cancer. Get rid of them, By the way, Thunder, when I'm thinking about it, have you read the book, The Four Agreements?
One more time?
The book, The Four Agreements. Have you read that book?
Well, I know the answer is no, because I can count on my one finger all of the books that I've ever got through.
Well, my saying is I've written more books than I've read.
But I've never even heard of this one.
This is a bestseller for 4 decades, and John Paul DeJoria gave me the book, bless his heart. And basically, the 4 agreements, there's 4 basic agreements that you should live your life by. This is a great book to buy and give away as a gift. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. And that has many levels. On the surface, you can understand it, but there's many levels to that. Because they wrote a whole book about these simple 4 agreements. Second one is never take what people say about you personally. The third is never make assumptions. And the fourth is always do your best. And they go in great detail how important these 4 simple principles are, but the world would be a hell of a lot better place if everyone read them and abided by them. The first rule, be impeccable with your word, is imagine if everyone did that, we wouldn't need lawyers anymore.
Wow. I like that one.
And then the second book...
Integrity to me is one's most important characteristic.
Yes, indeed.
100%. Yeah, I go with integrity first.
And of course, the second book I highly recommend is a book called Lester's Legacy. And that's the book I wrote. It's on Kindle.
Okay.
I got to throw a pitch out there,
Epic. I'm just a idiot little science guy. Dr. Fred Bell changed my life in a book called Rays of Truth, Crystals of Light. And I thumbed through this book. At the beginning you see the table of contents, and I'm like, oh wow, this has got some fun stuff to read. And then I flipped the pages, and before chapter 1, and in between the contents, I opened the book, and it's got a disclaimer. And I thought to myself, I said, wow, I've never seen a book with a disclaimer in it before. And the first sentence read, "This is not a book for the beginner, period." Wow. That's the first line of a disclaimer. This is not a book for the beginner.
Right.
Okay, so that disqualifies for any of these beginners here that are going to try to read this book. It's a disclaimer. Now, like you mentioned, we wouldn't need attorneys. If we look at what the attorneys have done to our American society, where people are going down the road and there's an accident, but there are people who are scared to stop and help someone because they might move their leg wrong and get sued. Wow. Ouch. Or people are scared. I'm in the United States, and I'm showing these companies about saving our environment and reducing pollution, and here's the technology, and they all go, yeah, is that going to avoid my warranty? I go to a third world country, and I say, hey, here, we got the solution to pollution. God bless you. Oh, thank you, is all I hear.
Right.
But in America, we're scared to death. These attorneys have put the fear in all of us.
Well, we're a greedy, litigious society. You rob a house, you break your leg while robbing it, you sue, you win.
You win.
What's wrong with that situation?
Right.
Well, how many mothers have spilt things on purpose in grocery stores, slipped on it on purpose, and sued the grocery store and won? They're in the record books.
Wow. That's a positive thing. Attorneys have messed us up to the point where we are scared to do anything. They have compartmentalized our lives to a point where nobody wants to talk, nobody wants to be courteous, I blame it on the lawyers. I really do.
Well,
they've done some damage to us.
I don't blame it on the lawyers, but I blame it on just the mindset, of I have to get over you to be successful. I have to stomp on you or stand on top of you to succeed. It's not like I love partnerships. I love teamwork. I love talking to people smarter than myself. It just has to be a different mindset.
Correct.
And
the world likes these things.
And
they want people.
It's if we could just make one person smile. Here's what I've been saying with the Be Fantastic movement. If you make one person smile today, you've made the world a better place. Because when you say you're fantastic, it makes people smile. If you can make 10 people smile today, you've done a great thing. And it makes the world a better place. If you can make more than 10 people smile, which I'm doing on a daily basis, you've done a fantastic thing. We need people smiling. We need people feeling good. We need people being kinder to one another. And I think, it might turn things around. It's going to take a hell of a lot of fantastic people. By the way, there's only 630 fantastic people in the world right now. That's not very many people. We need more. And that's why you got to pay it forward. Every time someone gets one of my Be Fantastic cards, I tell them, pass this forward, and then have them pass it forward to someone else, and invite more people to be fantastic. Because you live longer, you'll be happier, and you'll make the world a better place. And I've got proof. Thunder.
And this is why I'm working, with your logo on cell phones. I could sit down and strike a deal with that old tennis shoe company called Nike. Remember them?
Yeah.
Now, what would Nike pay to have 6 billion people to have their logo sitting on 6 billion cell phones out there? That's advertising that it's priceless.
Yeah.
Today's billboard is everyone's cell phones.
Well, here's what we're gonna do, Thunder. The announcement that we're helping the world by giving away these free MF readers is just the tip of the iceberg. Then when we have an audience, then we'll be able to help the veterans and help all the organizations that we're near and dear to. Making the world a better place. But the first is like it's getting that data, I guess, that database down. Getting people that understand that being kinder is the way to go.
So do it organically. I like this way. Better than taking the money from these giant corporations who really don't have a soul, and feeding their corporations more money who don't have a soul to grow. No, thank you. What you're doing here, Monty, is creating a new term I like to call karma cash. And you're building a vault of karma cash. It's worth more than money. Karma cash.
Yeah,
when you need to reach into the vault and pull some out, it's there.
Right.
You stockpile it. Would you rather have a bank full of money or a bank full of karma cash for the rest of your life? Because there's one thing that's going to happen if you just take the bank full of money. You're going to run out.
Yeah.
But when you got karma cash, it keeps growing. Even when you use a little bit, it keeps growing. At the bank with the money, you use a little bit, it disappears. You don't get more.
Yeah.
Karma cash.
I like it. With a K.
It's worth more.
Karma cash with a K.
Yeah. It's got more value to me.
Well, and I was just told recently in one of my interviews, the lady said that karma. I always thought, good karma comes back at you and bad karma comes back at you. She said it comes back threefold, good or bad. So, and she had some kind of backing behind that. I forget who proved it, but if you got to believe in karma. Doing good is going to make you feel good. It's almost like when you exercise, your mind makes you feel good because you did something good for your body. Doing good for other people really does. I mean, I feel great. I can't wait to get out and tell more people about being fantastic. As soon as this interview's over, I'm going to go meet another 6 or 8 people, and I'm going to teach them to be fantastic.
Audio.
Audio? What are you saying?
There we go. Yeah, you had a little cutout in audio there.
Oh, I did? Oh. Well, that's technical difficulties. So we have 6.5 minutes. One of the subjects we were going to broach today, and we'll save it for another day, was the super concert coming up called Storm Aid. But neither Bruce or Doug, because they do have their hands full, they are tackling some monumental issues. But today I think we cover some nice subjects. I think if the people can start to understand about pollinating positivity through the Be Fantastic movement, then we've made a little headway. And this is archived, this interview, so people are listening to it now.
Tell everybody how to get their Be Fantastic wallpaper. So they're doing 2 things: protecting nature and protecting their loved ones. And if your parents are out there, please take my solid advice on this. When I was considered I was that mean asshole parent, because I was the guy who wouldn't let his teenagers have a cell phone. Oh, God, look at this guy. He won't even let his kids have a cell phone. No, because I understood that the thinness of their skulls were too dangerous, and that the long-term effects, pregnant mothers who fall asleep with a cell phone on their bellies, please don't do that. Moms pushing their strollers around, down, talking to Baby Daddy, please use the speaker. Do not think that a headset is going to help you. And let me explain why. That is a wire coming out. That is an antenna, first off. That is an antenna, first off. Secondly, there is a coil wrapped around a magnet that is called an amplifier. So now we are taking EMF radiation up the antenna and amplifying it deeper into your brain cells. Not good, people. No. The Fantastic wallpaper and put it on speaker, and you have a device that is now safe to communicate with. So pregnant moms, parents, look, if you got to have your kids, your tablets, your laptops, all these kids are brilliant kids. Get the wallpaper, get the protection. Tell them how to get it for me.
Well, you go to...
Monty.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me?
Yep, there you are. Tell them how to get the free wallpaper.
You go to YouTube, and you go to the channel Uplifting Interviews with Total Strangers, and you subscribe for free, and you'll get a number. The first 1,000 people, we're at 630 now, and if you're listening to this and you already have a number, email me the number that you joined in at. If someone does it right now, there'll be 631. You email me the number at Monty at, let me see, which email are we using for this one? I believe it's Monty at lmc3.com. Tell me the number that you joined in at, your name in the body of the email, and the phone number you want the EMF reducer sent to. And we also have a newsletter we'd love you to participate in, and if you'd like to put a note saying you'd love to be on the newsletter. We also have an Instagram page, and every day we release a new motivational slogan from very famous people, and that's B_fantastic today. That's the Instagram. And there's a lot of videos on the Uplifting Interviews with Total Strangers YouTube page that are in virtual reality. And that's fun to watch on your phone because you can move the camera angle with your finger or just by moving the phone. And there's some great interviews. We have 450 plus interviews from Reiki healers to scientists to Caltech scientists to quantum physicists, as we have with Thunder here, rappers, you name it. Over 450 fabulous interviews to entertain you, educate you, motivate you. But most importantly, it's being fantastic. You need to be fantastic because it puts a smile on your face, that word. It's the only word that does it. And that smile releases endorphins, dopamine, serotonin. And if you don't have enough serotonin, it's been proven to lead to clinical depression. So put a smile on that face. It's very easy to do when you say the word fantastic. But more importantly, it makes other people smile. And you want to make other people smile. You want to make them laugh. And you want to pollinate positivity. And by being a fantastic person who's a kind, positive person, we're going to make the world a better place. And we're going to reward you with these great new technologies that the quantum physics has given us through great minds like Thunder here. And that's about the lowdown of it. We have 1:23. Why don't you close it out?
Well, and if you're hearing this, you got a way of sharing this. That's what's awesome. No one has ever sent me an email and the subject or a comment or something. This link is fantastic, and I didn't open it up. Okay, or enjoy this. It's fantastic, and share with your social media. When people see, if it came to me that way, I got an email that says, okay, I got hundreds of emails a day. Enjoy this. This is fantastic. Hey, let me look at this one. Because that alone is going to make me feel better. I already know it in my foresight. It's like, hey, I'm thirsty. Pick me. Where's 3 glasses of water?
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to label this, share this